What's happening, YouTubers? It's your boy CB, and we are back for my favorite segment on the channel, Huddle Watch Alongs with Recruits. On today's episode, for you guys that love defensive football players, for you guys that love great linebacker play, when I say great linebacker play, I'm talking about a three-down guy that is dominant against the run, but is also elite in pass coverage as well. It's got sideline to sideline speed, big, physical, athletic, agile. You have clicked on the right episode. 2026 three-star linebacker Joseph Credit from Pearland High School is a monster. Like I said, he has that versatility to give you that elite linebacker and coverage, a three-down guy that does not have to come off the field. Offers from Pitt, SMU, Penn State, Maryland, just to name a few. We're going to get into more of them, but you don't want to hear from me. You want to hear from the superstar himself, one of the baddest linebackers in the class. 2026 three-star linebacker Joseph Credit. How's it going, bro?
What's going on, man? Thanks for having me on.
Thank you for coming on. I know this is a busy time for you guys, especially you've been busy. I on the top, you've been busy. So let's get right into it because tonight was a really cool night. Brand new offer tonight. Just got off the phone. For those in the chat, let them know what that experience was like. Not just having that phone call, but being able to celebrate that with your family as well.
Man, I just got done telling my mom, telling my dad. I mean, it's always good to get a new opportunity. I mean, I love Coach White. I love UCLA. I love what they have to bring to the table. So it's really fun getting to go through this process.
For those of us that have not gone through this process and have not had to come home and D1 coach is on the phone. What how is that balancing that, bro? Like, because you got school, you got camps, you got 7-on-7, you got trying to live a regular life, you got, just trying to be you every day. You got to be a brother, son, best friend, boyfriend. How is it balancing that with recruiting?
I mean, it's like how it's going to be in college, I mean, you're going to have to balance all that in college. And I feel like you just have to you just have to soak it in, and you have to know that you're blessed to be in that position. You know what I mean? So I'm just happy that I'm in this position. I try to look at the good side of things. I mean, I try not to stress myself out over this because it's really easy to stress yourself out.
Yeah,
But
it is.
I mean, I think I handled it well. I mean, I work every day. I get all the things I have to get done, and just try to build stuff with my teammates, and yeah.
So we're going to get into some of these offers because the offer sheet is impressive. But I have to ask you, after an offer sheet is this vast and it's got these many names on it, do you remember your very first offer, bro? Like, do you remember that moment the first one came through?
Man, I can tell you, I was sitting at my desk doing my AP World History homework.
He remember everything. The second
I was doing my AP World History homework, Coach Spavital from Maryland, he hits me up, hits my phone, say, "Hey, you want to talk?" I'm like, we're just gonna have a little chill conversation,
regular,
It's like,
check-in.
how are you doing? Like, what's your weight? What's your height? All that type of stuff. He hits me, we talking. He's like, "Oh, by the way, you're offered by Maryland." I was stunned, like,
All
because
right.
like I was like show shot. I didn't think like it was gonna happen that early, and when it did happen, I mean, it felt like I just stepped into a whole new ballpark. You know what I mean? But I remember it vividly.
It's always cool because like I said, throughout all the visits, throughout the phone calls, throughout the graphics, it is always interesting to ask. And it seems like 10 out of 10, everybody remembers that first one. You remember where you were, you remember what you ate that night, you remember the first person you text. I think it's so cool. I think that shows how much y'all do care about every single one of these, that even after UCLA calls tonight, you still vividly, the second I asked that, you were like, stop talking. Let me tell you, at homework, like you knew exactly everything. So I always think that's really cool because it shows the humbleness too. It shows that you don't take any of these offers for granted, no matter how big or small they are, no matter when they come. And all of them have their own fun stories. So let's get into a couple of these. When you're a linebacker and you get a Penn State offer, that's got to be the biggest stamp of approval you can have. What was it like that day you got that Penn State offer?
Man, I was heading to a workout. I remember that one vividly too. Yep, like I was heading to a workout, going to my LB training workout, and you know, I was driving over there. The coach, I think Coach Allen, his name is. He says, "Hey, I want to call you." I get off the car. He calls me because I've already been talking to him, and he calls me and he says, "I want to offer you a scholarship to Penn State," and that's like now we're in the big leagues.
Yes,
We're in the
LBU,
big
man.
leagues now.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that's crazy.
It has to
But,
be a different level of rewarding when you get, like I said, that's linebacker you. I mean, going back to when my father was a kid watching Penn State, if
yeah,
you're a linebacker at Penn State, like I said, that's that stamp of approval. That's that. But when they come out in the draft, it's like, I don't care how high or low rated they are. If there's a Penn State linebacker available, you
yeah,
put him in your linebacker room because you know he's well coached up and you know he knows the game inside and out. And just like yourself, you know he's a 3-down guy. You know he's a complete football player. So that has to be rewarding. And then more recently, just came back from a trip Arizona State down there with the Sun Devils, who had a fantastic year this past year in the Big 12. What was that visit like, going up there and seeing Arizona State?
man, I've been up there before. I went for their UCF game. It's always nice
Ooh,
going up there. I like Coach Dillingham. I have a good relationship with him. Coach Coop, the linebackers coach. It's always a pleasure going up there and getting to see Tempe and being able to see the people, getting able to talk to the linebackers themselves and see what they think about the whole experience of being in
that's
Tempe.
big.
And so it's really fun up there. I really like it up there.
What was that UCF atmosphere like? Because they seemed like they were a team full of energy this year, not just the running back, not just the quarterback. It just seemed like that team and that fan base was just full of energy all season.
Yeah, like it was crazy going up there because like I did not expect the atmosphere to be how it was. Like I expected it to just be normal, like just just a normal game. And when the crowd started going, they started going. So yeah, they have a good fan base, and it's always
It's
a
one of
pleasure.
those that sneak up on you because
Right.
when you think of the big ones, they're not one that gets mentioned. But then you turn on a game and you're like, I could feel this at home. Like this is electric. Like these people are rocking. So it's interesting it's always cool to see when that does translate to a recruit as well. When you're there, you can feel that electricity.
Right.
Another cool thing about recruiting is you start this journey out and you're working hard for any offer that comes through and you're praying you're going to be in the situation that you're currently in. And
Right.
then a couple years pass and these coaches are now coming to see you. One of the legendary college football coaches, especially in our area, if you're in this Big 12 area, Mike Gundy from Oklahoma State,
Mhm.
showing up to the school, talking to you, obviously making sure that you understand that you're a priority for them. How cool is that for a recruit, knowing that a coach like Mike Gundy that's seen and will forget more football than we'll ever know looks at you as a priority?
And it's crazy because like I've seen Oklahoma State and what they've done, and seeing a coach like Mike Gundy just coming up to the school and being able to talk to not just me but a lot of other guys in the program. It's a real honor for him to come and talk to me and see what we have going on up in Pearland.
How much pride do you take into that? To that Pearland logo on your chest, like you said, you said it without me asking. Like, yeah, it was cool that Gundy came, but what was really cool is he was here for multiple guys. How much pride do you take in that?
Man, Pearland, when when I tell you like our games be packed. Like our games are packed. Like the fan base in Pearland, like it's crazy. Like this upcoming year, I feel like this is gonna be our year. So I feel like the fan base is gonna be rocking. I mean, this year it was rocking. Like the bleachers were always packed. So yeah, I love Pearland, and I've grew up here my whole life. So I love Pearland.
So I know what that atmosphere is like because I went to Dobie. Don't say nothing.
Oh,
Don't say nothing. Leave me alone.
damn.
Let me make
Oh,
it.
the guys we dropped 43 on
Yeah.
42,
See, I said,
42
come
0.
on, man. Yeah, I went to Dobie, so I know Pearland's history. My old quarterback Sam Proctor went there. He then went
Mm,
to OU. So yeah, that Pearland atmosphere is different. Speaking from someone that has seen it firsthand, it is different. For those in the chat, so because you are nationally recruited, there's going to be fans from California, fans from Pittsburgh, fans from Oklahoma, fans from Kansas, fans from Arizona, watching this, hoping that they land you. If someone had to ask you, what is so special about Texas high school football and high school football Fridays in Texas? What would you say that you think is that makes high school football in Texas so special?
I mean, the way we take it so serious in Texas, like football is its own subgenre. Like
It is a
football,
religion.
yeah, like it's literally a religion in Texas. So I mean, when there's state championship games going on, playoff games, like everybody's gonna be there. So I mean, and the facilities, everything. Like we take pride in football, and the football players here, they're built for success. So that's
I think when people watch Friday Night Lights and they see like town shut down for a game, I think they assume, oh, that doesn't happen because it's in the 70s. I want y'all to know that middle of Houston, people close down their businesses.
yep,
Friday, everybody come get the stuff because we closing early because Pearland got North Shore. Like everything shuts down. People take it serious. It be people who kids don't go to that school no more. They didn't graduate 10 years ago. But
yep,
that pride that they have in that logo, they continue to show up year after year. It really is. It is its own sub genre and its own religion. And like you said, the football players, they're built different. You guys are bred and built for college football and for the league. You guys are prepared, which is why I would imagine when you go to camps, when you go to compete with anyone from out of state, you don't feel shy about being the first guy in a drill. You don't feel
right.
shy about it. Yeah, see, he's like, oh yeah,
Yep,
no, I'm
like
first.
that's something I
And
did at
there's no
every camp
counting
I
players
went to.
going, I hope I don't go against him. It's competition, and you guys are just used to it.
No, that's how you get the offers. Like, shoot, I went to about 8 or 7 camps last summer, and I would genuinely say that's how I got a few of my offers, from the way I competed and the way I would get in front of the line and go against the best guys, the best running backs in one-on-ones, and show off my skills. So it was fun, but it was also competitive. You know
And
what
they
I
want
mean?
to see that confidence in you. They're
Right.
like, oh, look, Credit just went to the front of the line. We ain't even finished saying what the drill is. He at the front of the line. Like, okay, cool. Okay, he ready. So staying in Texas, one of the schools in Texas who has made a fantastic turnaround and has built that program up and is now in the ACC, made the college football playoff this year, their first time in the ACC, the SMU Mustangs. You've gotten to not just have them come see you at school, but you've gotten to visit them as well. What's that relationship like with the Mustangs and Coach Lashley?
Yeah, Coach Lashley and me, we're cool. Like I'm always talking to him. Coach Crum, the linebackers coach. I went there 2 weeks ago, and it was cool. I got to go up there, see some things, watch film with Coach Crum. So I have a really good relationship with them, and I'll continue to build it as these months go on.
We gonna stay in Texas. I like to call it the Infinity Gauntlet of Texas when you guys have all the all the
Yeah,
various Texas offers. Another school that came and saw you lately was TCU, and you've also been there for a game day. What was that experience like going to see TCU play?
man, like TCU, their student section is crazy. Like I didn't know it was like that. And the coaches in general, I really like TCU. TCU's a cool place. They have some cool guys on the coaching staff. They seem like a place where you're actually going to be cared for if you go there. You know what I mean? So it seems like I think they're a good one on my list for sure.
What are some of the things you look for when you're taking a visit? I know obviously you want to watch, you're going to watch film with the coach. You're going to try to see how y'all think I fit in this scheme. But other than that, other than surface level, what are some of the things you keep your eye out for when you're visiting a school?
Man, just how the players, like when I go to the practices in example, like seeing how the players like react to how the coach coaches and all those type of things, like seeing the facilities, all those type of things, like the relationships with each other. So
I like that.
those are all the things I look for, just to
I like that
pick
because
my
it's easy
brain.
to
Yep.
tell you, hey, this is how I am with my guys in practice. But then, like, I want to see you in the fire. I want to actually
Right.
see you when a guy doesn't understand, when a guy is messing up his assignment. I want to see how you coach him. I want to
Right.
see how
Because
you.
the players are gonna tell you how it is.
Yeah, they're not gonna lie to you. They go,
Right.
hey, come here. Look, hey, he be yelling. I don't,
Exactly.
he be yelling.
They can act. They're not actors.
I like that too because you get both sides. You get to actually
Yep.
see them in action, and then it's like, hey, come here, let me talk to you real quick. What's he really like, bro? Like,
Yep.
I like getting both sides of it because the truth is usually somewhere in the middle. But then when you're there, you get to see it yourself. I like that I got my eyes open when I'm there because I want to see. All right, how is he? What kind of drills do they run? How does he interact with his linebackers? Do the freshmen get any reps? I like that you keep your eyes open for things like that. And for those of y'all that have not seen this film and y'all are wondering, why do you keep emphasizing that he's a 3-down linebacker? Because that is special in today's game, especially with the spread offense, especially with the way offenses like to work. You're one of the most versatile linebackers I've had the privilege of watching this year. Have you always prided yourself on being a guy that can rush the passer, stuff the run, cover tight ends, cover backs? Have you always prided yourself and built yourself to be this 3-down complete linebacker?
Yeah, man. I think I'm a Swiss Army knife. Like in my whole game, I feel like I can cover. I feel like I can be a three down backer. So I think my game is really complete for college, and I pride myself in that. And I hear a lot of coaches tell me that you can and have the potential to be a three down guy. So I really take a lot of pride in that.
How much do you love when you get to come off the edge like this and just
Man,
wreak?
that's that third down, 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8. So when that gets called, hey, I'm going.
Then they had the nerve to one-on-one you here with
Hey,
a that was never going to
be out my
happen.
way, boy.
That
Yeah.
was never going to happen. How big did your eyes get when you realized this tackle is really not taking me? They're really gonna step a running back up on
Hey,
me.
my D linemen, hey, they take a lot of the load. Like, my guy Jalen, my guy Amari, DeMarco. Those are my three guys up front. They're always taking the load and letting the linebackers make the plays. So I give a lot of credit to them.
And another thing I see is y'all running the football, man. Like hats are running to the football. Who's that defensive coordinator or defensive coach that instills that core fundamental in y'all? Because when you watch your tape, it's everybody full speed to the ball.
Yep. Hey, Coach Hinkleman, our defensive coordinator, he gets us right. And he's always telling us in practice, hey, pick up the pace. Hey, he's gonna make us do up downs if we're not picking up the pace and getting to the ball. Like all hats have to be to the ball every single play in practice. So I think that's one thing that he instills in us that makes us better football players.
And you actually see that on film too. Another thing I see, you diagnose insanely fast, bro. It's almost like you know what's coming. How much of that is film study? How much of that is how much you prepare for
Yeah.
games?
Hey, me and my dad every single weekend when the film tape is dropped, all the all the stuff from last week to this week, we look at that every single day and see, hey, what can I get better at? Hey, am I using my hands more or less? So I feel like my game is built on in the film room. Like knowing what's gonna happen before it happens, that's the biggest thing as a linebacker.
You feel like the game started slowing down for you when you did become that film junkie, that guy that was looking for every little advantage you could find on tape?
I think the coaches really pushed me because like our coaches want guys who love football, and when I figured that out, I became obsessed with watching film and being a student of the game. So ever since, I've been watching film every single day, trying to know what is going to happen before it happens.
And then it's always fun to see that pay off, right? You put that dedication in, you put that hard work in, and then Texas A&M calls, and they're like, "Hey, man, you want to play football up here?" When we talk about SEC football, we talk about defense. We close our eyes and think SEC. No disrespect to any other conference, but when you think about defense, you think about the SEC, and you've gotten to see that atmosphere in person. College Station is, if you haven't been there, you really do have to experience it. But for someone that has not seen it themselves, what was that like from a recruit going up there and visiting A&M?
Man, it's crazy. Like College Station, that's a college town. Like everybody
Yes.
pulls up for those games, and they have a big alumni base. Like you're gonna see 120K people inside one stadium all yelling and throwing them towels all around. Like, it's
They
crazy.
don't mess around. They
They
don't.
don't.
They know all the songs. They know all the chants. It is absolutely electric. And then that staff has been building something really fantastic. And you saw this past year, young quarterback stepped in, played really well.
Mhm.
How cool is it getting to see the trajectory that program is on? And another program, big time SEC program, looking at your film, going, all right, if we want to continue to rise, we need a young man like this.
Yeah, like Coach Oko, I'm cool with him. Coach Bayman, the DC, like those guys, they see my potential and they see what I can become as a SEC linebacker and as a linebacker in general. And I'm honored to be able to fill that role potentially and see what the future beholds.
For somebody as versatile as you, who do you like to study? What are some of the linebackers you like to watch and learn from? Because not a lot of linebackers can play in the middle, run sideline to sideline, come off the edge. There's a few different guys mixed in there to make 36. So who are some of the guys that you like to study?
Man, the main two guys I'm always watching, like from college to the NFL, is Fred Warner and Luke Kuechly. You
Oh,
can't go wrong from those two guys. Like, just even watching their college film is just crazy, and seeing how they were dominating. Like Fred Warner at BYU, Luke Kuechly at Boston College. Like, those guys were monsters, and they were exactly in that position that I feel like I'm in, where they were sideline to sideline guys. They could cover. Like, so those are the guys I look at, and I want to mold my game to.
those are probably two of the best, especially when we talk about, obviously, for some of those that didn't get to watch Luke Kuechly because he ended his career early. This was a 100 tackle minimum guy every year. And
Mhm.
the high football IQ, he was the quarterback of the defense. He was the guy that knew where everyone needed to be and to put guys in right positions. And as a linebacker, a lot of times that is your role, is to make sure guys know where they're lined up, guys understand what's coming. If the offense is audibling, just making sure people understand what's happening. How much of that do you feel like you enjoy? Is that part of linebacker why you love the linebacker position, is because you do get to exercise that high football IQ as well?
Yep. Hey, it's fun telling guys to get their ass over there, rip their ass over there. Hey, it's fun. It's fun telling guys to do that because you know what you're doing, but sometimes they don't know what they're doing, so you have to tell them what to do. So
And you'd be surprised how much they start leaning on it. Somebody motions, they're like, hey,
right,
do I are we still in cover two? Do you feel like there was a shift for you? Because obviously when you're a younger player, it's different. You're still a leader, but it's different. But I would imagine coming into last year, coming into that junior season, at this point, there's young guys looking towards you in the huddle now. If y'all are down by 7, like you say, looking at you, looking at Jalen, they like 6 or 36, bro. I don't know what y'all. I got something for us.
right.
How did that change how you prepared for games and prepared for the season, knowing that you were going to be more of a leader in the locker room and on the field?
I mean, I feel like it was just passing the reins. My sophomore season, we had some good leaders. And I feel like they really showed me how I could represent as a leader and see how I could impact my team. So when guys would come to me and be like, "Hey, how do I do this?" or "Hey, what do I do in this?" Like, I would tell them the exact way how to do it and other ways of doing it. So I feel like as this next year goes on, I'm gonna build on top of that and become a better captain, a better leader.
Yeah, now you're an old head in the locker room. Now now there's
And I'm
freshmen that's like, okay, when he leaves, I want 36. Like I'm gonna take his gloves when he leaves. Like that one, it's crazy how fast that happens, right? Because like you said, sophomore year, there's other leaders in the locker room, and they're obviously ready to hand it down to you. So they're teaching you these things. But at that point, you're thinking to yourself, I'm gonna take his back flat when he leaves. And there's a freshman right behind you going, he's not my hero. It's Joseph's my hero. I want his.
it's
But
always a cycle. Like, I was like that when I was a freshman. When I saw the seniors, I was like, "Oh dang, this guy, he's
do you
crazy."
remember when that flip switched for you, when you did become the big brother in the locker room?
I mean, I feel like it started like off season after sophomore year. That's when I really started to change my role and become more of a leader. Because in the weight room, you have to command guys to push themselves. You know what I mean? So I feel
Yep.
like that's where it starts transitioning into, okay, I'm just a role guy. Let me stand in the back. Let me let the other guys lead. Now I'm leading once the off season hits. So I think that's where it transitioned.
I like that y'all pass down that culture from class to class, because what that does is it puts a standard in place. So what's gonna happen is you're gonna graduate. You're gonna be playing D1 big time football somewhere. Somebody's gonna loaf on a run, on a play, on something. They're gonna stop and go, look, just never did that. Like we nuh-uh. Our star linebacker is playing big time college, and he never did that. So you can't. If you're trying to follow in his footsteps and be where he is playing on Saturdays, you have to keep that same standard.
Right.
That's how culture continues to be winning culture, because someone passed it down to you, and you looking at younger guys. I'll be damned if it stopped with me. So you're gonna get in line, and when it's one more rep, you're gonna do one more rep. When it's one more, when we staying after practice, you're gonna stay after practice. That's why Pearland has that winning culture. It's
Right.
because you guys take pride in that. You guys take pride in passing that down to the next person. Your face lit up when I started talking about younger guys. You were like, yeah, I guarantee there's like 3 or 4 in your head off the rip. You were like, yeah, he keep bothering me.
Yeah.
But that is why Pearland has that culture they have, that brotherhood that you guys have.
Right.
So I got to bring up another Texas school, because, again, it's the Infinity Gauntlet of Texas. And it's another school that had a phenomenal season last year, a fantastic recruiting class. The Baylor Bears doing some great things up in Waco. What's that relationship like with Baylor up there? And how cool is it getting to see another Texas school on a upward trajectory like Baylor has been the past couple years?
Man, Coach Aranda, he's building something special. And Coach Aranda, he's a defensive minded guy. He's a linebacker guy. He's coached on
Jeez.
multiple different teams like LSU in 2019. He was the linebackers coach. So it was good to be offered by them and Coach Cheney. I'm building a relationship with him and being able to do things and go out to go see them. It's always fun. So I'm continuing to build a relationship with them, and it's really fun getting to talk to them.
So, for those of y'all that are not in Texas, Baylor is not just a school where you get to be an elite athlete. You have to be elite in the classroom as well. My
Hmm.
nephew graduated from Baylor. I know this. We all know this growing up in Texas. But for those of you outside of Texas, they're like, Baylor? Like, yes, it is an academic institution.
Exactly.
So, when you get that offer, that has to make not just you proud, but your parents proud as well, because that's that, like, just like Penn State is the stamp that, oh, he bad at linebacker, Penn State calling.
Mhm.
When you get an offer like that, that's a stamp that, oh, he's a true student athlete. How much pride do you take in being a true student athlete?
I mean, I feel like all the things I do, like I have to get my schoolwork done first. So when I get my schoolwork done, everything else can start. You know what I mean? And I'm
Love that.
taking classes right now so I can early graduate in December. So I feel like I
That's
take
awesome.
pride in being a student and then becoming an athlete. And I feel like those two things go hand in hand. Like you can't be a student without being an athlete. I mean, once you get to the NFL, that's going to change. But
Yeah,
as
then
long
it's different.
yeah, like as long as you're in college, like you're not gonna escape having to turn something in. So having that in high school, like that'll help you for those 4 to 3 years you're in college.
It just becomes routine. You're used to studying. You're used to making sure your grades are good. It's not a burden, because it's conditioning. It's muscle memory. You're like, all right, I got to knock this essay out. The same way I would have to knock these sprints out. It's no different.
Yep.
It's I'm gonna be elite at both. So my favorite question to ask recruits is, as someone who works as hard as you do, and I know you do, because it's not just the visit schedule, it's the work outside of Pearland that you do.
Right.
And then being elite in the classroom means late night studying. That means, like you said, homework's got to get done first. Coaches want to call you, somebody wants to interview you, and you got to continue to find the energy every day. What's it like on those days when your body is sore, your body is tired, and it's telling you, like, bro, please sleep for one more hour? What's that why that keeps you pushing on those days when your body tells you it can't?
I mean, I always go back to the to God. Like I feel like God's will for me is to be in the position I am at right now. And if you were to tell me 4 or 5 years ago I was in this position, I wouldn't believe you. But through constant prayers and just believing in and doing the things that are possible. Like, I think that's what keeps me going every day. Just what next step I can take to be better, even when I'm tired. Those type of things.
That is why that's why before this, a coach was like, "Hey, before you do anything tonight, I need like 10 minutes of your time on a phone call," because you take pride in what you do, and you do understand it's bigger than you. You started this earlier by I asked you about an individual offer, bro, and your first thing that came out of your mouth was your teammates. You
Right.
started naming teammates before you named your experience. That is why A&M wants you. That's why Maryland wants. It's not just because you're elite on the field, but because you're going to enhance that locker room when you get there
Right.
as well. You're going to elevate that linebacker room when you get there as well. That's why the offer sheet is what it is. It's not just because you're elite on first, second, third, and fourth down. It's Monday through Thursday. It's the work that they don't see. It's working when there is no pat on the back for it, and you're still putting in the work, going as hard as you can, and keeping God first, and realizing that I have a purpose. I need to fulfill that purpose. I have to put the hard work in so I do fulfill that purpose. But that is why you're going to be elite at no matter what it is you do. When you have that kind of work ethic, if you decided to sew sweaters tomorrow, you would be elite at sewing sweaters. Just when you put that much into something and you care about it, you're going to be great at it. So I have no doubt you're going to be great in college. You're going to be great at the next level. And whatever you decide to do after that, you're going to be good at that too, because I know you're going to put the hard work in, and you're going to take pride in that work. Taking pride in the little things goes a really long way. And when you're someone that's not prompted to take pride in the little things, when it's just in you, you're going to be great at no matter what it is you do.
Right.
Football, basketball, soccer. If you're like, I'm going to be a YouTuber tomorrow, you're going to be great at that,
Yep.
because not just the attention to detail, but the ability to say, look, if I have a gift, it is my duty to get the best out of my gift. And
Right.
you got that first offer, and your thought wasn't, oh, cool, Maryland offered me. You were like, I'm going to work harder now.
Exactly.
That's different. I know for you, that's normal, but I want you to know that that is different. That everyone's not quite built
Yeah.
that way.
And
And
my
that's why
and,
you're
and
going to be successful.
and my dad always told me that, like, when I got that first offer, he told me, okay, now it's time to work harder. Like, you
I
haven't
love
hit
that.
the end of the road. Like, you just hit the beginning of it. So,
It's
I
proof
mean,
of concept. It's just proof that it's working, but it can
exactly.
always be better. It can always, so it's like, okay, so you got them. What about them? All right, you're
Yep.
right. You're right. You're right. They saw me too. Let me make sure I get that one too. I like that you